Hey everyone, welcome back to a very special and light edition of the Entertainment Buddhacast. I am your host, as always, Matt Haywood here, and I am joined by nobody. That's what makes this cast so special. There is no one on it but myself. We're doing this solo style. Very reminiscent or similar to my Raw Radio broadcast, if you follow me on Raw Radio. You know what I'm talking about, where I do the EB recaps pretty much every day to let you know all the great and geeky things we have on entertainmentboo.com for you to consume and obviously make yourself a better geek one post at a time. So why am I doing a solo cast? No, I did not fire the staff. Anna has not been let go. Keith hasn't been kicked to the curb. RP3... Well, RP3 hardly joins us anyways, but you get the gist. No one's in trouble. I'm just doing this because no one had availability outside myself, and I wanted to bring you an Entertainment Buddhacast because why not? It makes you a better geek, just like our website, one cast at a time. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, it's rather than talking about a particular game or something going on in the industry, I decided I'm going to get a little personal with this one. And that's because last week, my video game rage problem, anger management problem with video games to be more particular, came to an ugly head after I broke a very expensive piece of equipment in my man cave. So before we get to that, I just want to go over kind of my career in gaming and why I've always had an issue with my anger management when it comes to playing video games. So it's a somewhat serious podcast. I'm sure there's other gamers out there that are like me and just literally can go from being peaceful and happy to ready to murder someone with the snap of a finger because of a video game, something that happened in the game, something cheap, something fair, but you're not good enough to beat it, so on and so forth. So let's kind of take the time machine back to the 1980s where little Matt got his first video game console in the Nintendo Entertainment System. So the first thing I can remember doing in frustration over a video game is biting myself, and I still do that to this day. And full disclosure, I'm 34, about to be 35. I'll probably be 35 by the time you listen to this podcast. So yeah, I've been dealing with video game anger management issues pretty much my entire life, or at least from the very first time I played a video game. So, like I said, the first thing I used to do, or the first reaction I used to have to a video game that pissed me off, or, I couldn't beat and I was getting frustrated, was biting myself. Either biting my index finger, biting my forearm. I've moved into actually biting controllers now, which, again, I learned back in the good old days at NES. I'll tell you what, the original NES gamepad was very tough to chew on. Not unlike some of these controllers today. So maybe one day one of these manufacturers will actually make a much more edible controller. But, so I started with biting things. The biting then moved into spitting. Yes, I know, very mature, right? Like I said, I'm being very open and honest here. I'm not proud of any of this behavior, all right? I'm not promoting it. I don't think it's really funny. I mean, it might be funny in retrospective to sit here and think of my little fat ass downstairs chewing on my arm or spitting on stuff, but it really is not. It's not cool, and I wish it's something I didn't do, but oh well, it is what it is. I guess things could be worse. So, yeah, we moved into spitting, and it would be spitting on myself, on the controller. One of my favorite places to spit was on the screen that was displaying the video game that was pissing me off. So, yeah, we started with biting and then into spitting. And then it moved into the actual destruction of video game hardware, starting with controllers. So this, again, the first time I ever smashed a video game controller was on the NES. And mind you, they were very easy to smash back then because we still had controllers tied to cables, and I would use the cable as more or less like a lasso, swinging a rope around like yeehaw, and then I would smack it off of something, either the entertainment center, off the ground, the wall, so on and so forth. As I got older, it was only a matter of time before I actually could break one of these by swinging it around and smacking it off of hard objects, which I did with the NES. things progressed. By the time I was 9, they got worse. All right, so I went on from chewing, biting, spitting. Forgot to mention, I do self-beating too. One of my favorites is punching myself in my quad with my right fist, which later has transitioned into punching my temple with both fists. So yes, like I said, I am not normal whatsoever when it comes to my video game rage habits. So the first time I actually did damage to something outside of a video game console or hardware was, I'll never forget this moment. It's 1989, little Matt, 9 years old, sitting in his parents' house in his room playing the Batman video game based on the Michael Keaton Batman movie from 1989. So if you've never played it, you got to look it up. I mean, this game is just, it's classic for causing video game frustration and gamers like me reactions that aren't deemed normal while playing video games. So yeah, this is the Batman where the actual Batman's a purple guy. It's got the the good old chiptunes music. So it is a difficult game, platforming centric. So one day I was progressing, I was getting excited. I'm like, oh yeah, I just got past that part that's always kicked my ass. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. And sure enough, I couldn't do it. And based on that failure, which I still deem to this day to be a kind of a cheap maneuver on the video game's part, but either way, the way I decided to deal with that is to take my right elbow and smash it through my bedroom wall. Yes, at 9 years old, I had already put a hole in drywall, which is typically an event reserved for most males until they're at least in college, living with other male roommates, drinking too much and acting like assholes. Jägermeister can do that to even the most mild-mannered individual. So anyways, putting holes in the walls by the time I was 9. It's safe to say after that event, my mom kind of caught wind and noticed that my video game rage has just become uncontrollable. So due to the hole smashing, I received a gaming ban for quite some time. So I was not allowed to play games, which, hey, back then I'm sure I hated my mom's guts, but it was definitely the right thing to do. I mean, just think of it from her perspective. Here's an adult with a young 9-year-old child who likes to game. Gaming should bring children joy, fun, and happiness. But what she hears is someone throwing tantrums, screaming, crying, biting stuff, spitting, and eventually breaking holes through walls. So she's like, that's enough, you little fat ass. No more video games for you. Go outside and release your anger. Get the poison out. That's for you Stern fans out there. So I after the hole smashing, I definitely learned my lesson and became more aware of my gaming rage. But quite frankly, that didn't last too long. Moved into the 16-bit era. The Genesis suffered from broken controllers. That carried over into the PlayStation 1 area too, Microsoft, so on and so forth. Things really got nuts during the Xbox 360 era. So again, we're going to fast forward from my childhood in the 80s and 90s to the mid-2000s. So now I'm an adult, a working adult, good paying job, so I can afford the games I want to play. I can afford video game hardware that I want, so on and so forth. So during the 360 era, I single-handedly broke 6 360 controllers. All right, if you remember the price of these controllers, they were anywhere from $45 to $60 depending on the mobile. So if you do the math, let me bust out my fingers. So that'd be 1 times 2, 3, 6. Let's just say they're $50 a piece. So 6 times 5 is 30. Add 0. Oh yeah, so about $350 I spent on controllers just for the Xbox 360. All right, let that compute. The 360 itself didn't cost $350. So not only did I have the expense of the console and replace it, but I also had the expense of replacing controllers because I have a severe video game rage problem. I got quite efficient at breaking 360 controllers, and I contend today that I could probably break one faster than anyone else in the galaxy due to my perfected maneuvers of smashing it. What I used to do, I'd take the two bottom grips and I would kind of press them together. Think if you're in a weight room doing flies or something where you're just compressing your pecs together. I'd be like, like caveman that shit until I saw it split. Once I saw it split, I'd give it a nice spike off the floor to loosen things up even more. From there, I would then take the controller, I'd take one of the grips and place the other into the floor, and then jam my full weight on it to fully separate it to where I could rip out the guts, the plastic stuff, the buttons, the circuit board, so on and so forth, to the point where it was completely unusable. I know, it sounds mental. I'm hoping some other user or people that are listening to this can relate. And I hope if you are relating, you're like me and you're trying daily or every time you game to work on this. Because, again, sometimes I make jokes about it. I broke $350 worth of 360 controllers. But, I mean, it's ridiculous. It is fucking ridiculous when I behave that way. Do you understand me? And it's ridiculous if you are behaving that way. So moving out of the last gen into the current gen era consoles, meaning the PS4 and Xbox One, I made a vow to myself, no more controller busting. And so far, nearly, 2 years in, I've held firm to that. Now, that doesn't mean I haven't possibly bit a controller, bit the new DualShock 4 or an Xbox One controller, but I have managed to refrain from actually smashing it to bits like the Hulk after someone pisses him off. So I was thinking, hey, maybe I'm getting a control on this thing. Things are getting better. I can actually, when I do get angry now at a game, instead of just going right off the rail and smashing stuff and screaming, I'll start with, potentially the good old tried and true quad punch. If that doesn't work, maybe I'll do a couple tempo hits. From there, obviously I'll be spitting on stuff and biting my fingers, which is one of my favorite. I still have never bit through my skin completely, so I guess I'm a pussy, or I'm not that serious about biting my fingers off. But anyways, I felt like I've had the things under control to some degree. But all that has kind of come crashing down after a very, what I consider to be a depressing event when I look back on it retrospectively. Because it's just, it was probably the most embarrassing video game rage fallout I've ever had. And again, I'm almost 35 years old. Let's keep that in mind. It's not, and I'm not a mental case. I don't go to a shrink. I'm not insane. So this most of my nuttiness really is related to video games and just getting pissed off over them. So sometimes I question why I even play games, but I love them. So I'm never going to stop playing them. I just need to figure out how to quit acting like an asshole. So before I get into what exactly happened last week, let me preface with some of the gaming habits I've had lately. So thanks to my young nephew Landon, little guy, he's gaming now, not even 4 years old. His mom got him on the Wii. I was just down there over July 4th playing, Mario Brothers on the Wii, where multiple people can play at the same time, having a good time. And we got home, my wife's like, hey, do we have any of these games? Because she actually got into it. And I'm like, actually, I have the Super Mario Brothers U for the Wii U. It looks better. It plays the same. Let's get into playing that. So, first off, my wife's not much of a gamer. So, this is one passion of mine that she does not share, which means when I game, she's usually in a separate room doing her thing while I'm doing my thing. So, we don't really get to hang out and enjoy the hobby together. So, the fact that she wanted to start doing that, it was awesome. I was like, sweet. I can finally play games with my wife. I can actually use the Wii U. That was a double bonus. So we were playing it, and very early on, she realized that I had a severe game rage problem. Now, mind you, this is playing Super Mario Brothers, a cute and cuddly, brilliant, vivid-looking game with shiny colors and little toad guys. Hey! Shit like that. You don't really associate a Mario game with making someone mental, but hi, I'm Matt, and I have a video game rage problem. It's just that type of deal. I can't help it. And honestly, if you really think about Mario games, they're hard as fuck. The original ones were hard. The new ones are still hard. So you are going to have some frustrations. Now, how you deal with it, that's on you. And obviously, I deal with it the wrong way. So anyways, we've been playing Mario Brothers on the Wii U lately, and there have been times where I'll get angry at her because she's not as good, not as skilled, and that will cause tension in the relationship. She'll think I'm a jerk. She won't want to play, and I'll be like, I'm sorry, I'm an idiot, I don't mean it. I'm not really yelling at you, I'm yelling at your character, but deep down, I'm really yelling at her, and she knows that, and I know that. And That's a problem, because who the fuck wants to play with some angry asshole that keeps yelling at them for fucking up? I mean, it's not like she's a pro. I should understand that, but like I said, I get frustrated. I've been playing Mario's for years. I pretty much know what to do. I'm a fast mover. I like to run, get through as quick as possible, where, she's still getting the hang of things, jumping, and she loves collecting coins, so we got to wait to get all those, but whatever. So even going in the last weekend, I was already starting to spoil the whole new gaming relationship I developed with my wife. But then what I did last Friday night, after we had our usual B-dubs trip, had a couple beers, obviously, so I was a little tuned up. But we were playing Super Mario World again, just like we've been doing, or Super Mario Brothers Wii U. And I think it was level 4, the ghost house on level 4, right? The ghost house, they're always a pain in the ass, because you either don't have full lighting, you've got the fucking ghost chasing you when you're not looking at them. A lot of times the exit is not known, you got hidden doors, vanishing doors, so on and so forth. So that just the nature of the ghost levels can be very frustrating. And then when you compound playing with another player, which I still contend in these new Mario games, it's harder to play with multiple people at the same time than by yourself, because the other player almost becomes an additional obstacle or enemy to contend with. So anyways, we're going through this thing, and I kept getting to the end part, and I could not figure out where to go. So 2 times in, I'm like, fuck, where is this? And I died again. And then, shit, where is this? And I'm slowly starting to feel the frustration build up. Those of you that are video game ragers, I'm sure you know what I mean. I mean, you can feel it it's like in every fiber of your body. It starts in your soul. You can feel this anger and rage boiling up in your guts to the point where it wants to explode out of your chest like an alien baby. So I make my last attempt, and sure as shit, I still can't figure it out. I die, and that's it. I literally see nothing but red. It's almost like blacking out with rage. The first thing I did is I took the Wii U not gamepad, but the controller, so the one that looks like an Xbox 360 controller, and threw it across my room like a fucking frisbee. Right into all my Xbox boxes, Blu-rays, so on and so forth. Smashed a couple of those. Luckily, the controller was fine. That wasn't enough, though. This is where things become very tragic, and why I'm kind of having this public service announcement type of podcast tonight about video game rage. So, I didn't break anything up to this point, but what do I do next? Well, I grab the next thing that I know I can manhandle and fuck up and not really hurt anything, which is a sealed bottle of water. Now, it's a plastic bottle. It's not like it was a glass bottle. What I usually do when I grab a bottle of water is I'll just squeeze it, and I'll twist and turn it, and I'll try to literally break the plastic open, which is nearly impossible, right? If you ever tried to on a sealed plastic bottle of water. So when I realized I couldn't do that, again, none of this, all these actions, they are not conscious. I'm telling you. Something takes over me, and I just start doing stuff. It's not like I sit there and go, I'm going to throw this fucking controller across the room and hope it breaks. My body, it's like a reaction. It's a reflex, if you will. I'm just like, swigga! Done. What else can I fuck up? All right, I'll punch myself. All right, I don't want to punch myself. I'll spit on something. I'll step on something. Give me something to smash. Very Hulk-like. Hulk, smash, a lot. So, I grabbed this bottle of water. I know I can't break it. So what do? I stand up and spike the motherfucker off of my coffee table. And you're probably thinking, well, so what? Why is that such a big deal? It's just a bottle of water and a coffee table. And I would agree with you. But what happened, and I believe this was a sign from the universe, it was karma, it was something. Somehow I threw the bottle at the right angle to get it to explode. So imagine taking a water balloon and smashing it right in front of your entertainment center and what that could do. All right, you may start to visualize what potentially just happened after this. So after I chuck the bottle of water off the table and it explodes, water is everywhere. The coffee table's flooded. I've got DVD, who the hell uses DVDs? Blu-rays, video games out of their cases, getting soaked. I'm just like, fuck it. I mean, who cares? It's just water. I can wipe it off. I see there's water splashed on my receiver. Luckily, not on the grates that drop down into the electronics to kill it. I'm looking around, and at this time, my wife was with me. She literally got up in disgust and was like, "Way to go, you fucking idiot! You could basically just cost us $7,000 worth of equipment with all the shit you have here." Now, she said that not knowing ultimately what happened, stormed off, went to bed. I don't blame her. So after that, immediately I'm like, God damn it, dude, you're such a fucking freak. Why do you do this shit? Why do you, let her see you like that and get pissed? And, she already thinks you're nuts, but now you're just validating it. So while I'm thinking about that, feeling like a piece of crap, I'm cleaning up, and lo and behold, I look up at the TV and I notice that there are water droplets on it. This is a 55-inch LED flat screen from LG. So I'm thinking, all right, whatever, it's just water on the screen, it will wipe off. So I start cleaning up everything else. And out of the corner of my eye, what do I start to see on the TV? But it starts to fucking flicker. It starts to get fuzzy. The picture starts flicking off and on. And that's the moment where my heart sunk. And I had realized that due to my video game rage problem, due to my inability to be calm and just take a deep breath after something pisses me off in a video game, due to me wanting to destroy stuff and not even thinking about it, it's just naturally happening. I mean, thoughts are not even being processed. I destroyed a 55-inch LED TV. It was ruined. The only thing I can guess, I mean, the TV really didn't have much water on it, but all I can guess is there was enough that dripped down in between the crack of the panel where the screen is and kind of the front bezel of the TV, and started to seep into the electrical circuits, which obviously we all know water and electricity do not mix, and sure as shit, the TV was destroyed. So when I fully realized that, it took me to a very dark and low place. I became very embarrassed with myself and my actions. This shouldn't justify the TV being broken, but luckily this year I was planning on getting a new TV anyways. This TV was about 4 or so years old. I probably could have sold it for maybe $500, but still, that's $500 that could have been in my pocket rather than sitting in a trash heap right now. And because I did break a TV, guess what I had to do? I had to go buy a new TV. So now we're talking another almost $3,000. So just based on one night, one damn near millisecond of uncontrolled game rage over a fucking Super Mario game, I cost my household about $3,500. Think about that. $3,500 fucking dollars because I have video game rage anger management issues. Yeah. I felt like an asshole. I felt low. I felt dirty. I felt like a loser. As I should. I mean, you really should. If you're breaking stuff on the level of 55-inch flat screen LED TVs over video games, that almost warrants using a straitjacket while you play games or getting checked into the loony bin. So as I wrap up this public service announcement style Buddhacast, I want everyone to know how that felt. I mean, sometimes I do try to make it funny, like, haha, I break stuff when I game, I bite myself, it's so silly, I'm such a weirdo, haha, isn't that funny? And people think it's funny when I'm on chats with them and I'm freaking out, whatever. After last week, this shit is not funny anymore. I need to really take a serious stance on my video game rage and try something. Maybe not playing games. Maybe the moment I start to feel that just overwhelming feeling of hatred and hate, and all I want to do is kill and destroy, just stop right there. I don't know what I'm going to do. Deep breaths, something, meditating, who knows. But after costing my household $3,500 over a video game, I am now ready to make a commitment to stop this shit. At least stop pushing the focus onto my tangible goods, being the entertainment center, remote, controllers. You know, if I want to beat myself, fine, I can beat myself, even though that's stupid. I've actually given myself bruises on my head before. I've made my jaw hurt before. So again, this is a real problem. And it's time to clean it up. And just wrapping things up, a very sobering moment last week. I have a great, awesome new 65-inch 4K TV now with a curved screen. That's all fantastic, but I can tell you I felt so shitty over breaking my old TV that getting a new TV and all the joy that surrounds it was completely minimalized. I felt no excitement. You know, I felt like I was almost going to a funeral. It was like, it was almost like a bad feeling to get the new TV because of how the old TV went out. I was actually supposed to gift one of my TVs to a family member because we were going to rotate my TV upstairs to the main TV and that TV out to the family member. And now that's probably not going to happen. So not only did I cost my house money, but I'm probably going to cost this family member money because now I don't think I have a TV to give them because I fucking broke the old one. So gamers, if you have video game rage like me, or if you've ever done something as bad as me and breaking a big ass HD TV over a video game, please feel free to chime in the comments of this post or in the YouTube video. You know, send me an email, matt@entertainmentbuddha.com. It is a serious problem, and it's one I know that I'm not going to be able to kick right away. I mean, I don't want to compare it to alcoholism, but there is definitely something very mentally wrong with me when it comes to my reactions to being frustrated in a video game. So we'll kind of get through this thing together. You know, maybe I'll update you on my progress in subsequent Buddhacasts. We don't do podcasts here. But I just wanted to get that off my chest and share that experience. Maybe someone else can, take it to heart and realize that you can really fuck shit up big time and cost yourself a ton of money, all because you can't control your anger over a video game. Because after all, these things are supposed to bring us entertainment, joy, happiness. And if it's making people like me break expensive TVs, requiring to buy new ones, controllers, so on and so forth, maybe we need to rethink our hobby, but that's a hard thing to consider when I look back at all the great times I've had with video games. So I'll leave you with that, people. If you ever feel yourself raging on a video game, just turn it off. It's not worth it. Do the 10 count, close your eyes, do a little humana, 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 meditate, something. If I find a good alternative to smashing stuff, I'll let you know. Maybe even if you have to get a punching bag or like a wrestling dummy, a big plush doll, something you can tee off on. That's still better than, fucking with your hardware, your TVs. Just don't throw stuff. When you throw stuff, things get dangerous because ultimately you can never control the trajectory, as I found out with a freaking bottle of water. So that's it for now. Hopefully we don't have another one of these where I'm explaining I just blew up my brand new 65-inch curved 4K TV. If that happens, I'm pretty sure my wife will leave me, or at least tell me I'm not allowed to get another TV for 4 more years. So I'll have to stare at a wall in the man cave rather than a glorious TV surrounded by movie curtains nonetheless. So it's been real, people. This is Matt Haywood signing off the special solo edition of the Entertainment Buddhacast, PSA style, for you video game ragers out there. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know. Again, we love the feedback. Make sure to hit up the site, entertainmentbuddha.com, on a daily basis. Follow our socials. Hit us on Twitter, @EntBuddha, on YouTube, Entertainment Buddha, Twitch, Entertainment Buddha. We're on everything. All you got to do is go to the site, look for the follow EB section, and start clicking, liking, following, loving. We appreciate you. We do what we do because of people like you geeks that support us. So, good night. God bless. Game on. And don't be a fucking asshole.